Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another video. This time this is my honest opinion and impressions of Destroy All Humans, the game I've recently finished streaming. How about we start then? Let me start out by saying this video, by saying that I did not play the original. So I didn't play the original Destroy All Humans back in 2005 I think it was. Though as I got older there was many different old games such as Destroy All Humans that I thought to myself that maybe one day I hoped to play them, hoped and pray that even some of them maybe even remastered. And Destroy All Humans, I heard, was a very fun game. And luckily THQ Nordic answered my prayers by remastering this fantastic, brutally funny, epic game. Yeah, that's a lot of words to describe it. This was originally developed by Pandemic, the people who made the original Star Wars Battlefront series. So there's a lot of talent behind the original game. So the remastering had to be good. But even I knew that this was a beloved game that had very high expectations by fans. So the new developer, Black Forest Games, had a very difficult time to design the game that would please a lot of people. And let me say that everyone is going to be different, and at least one person isn't like the new version. Sorry. I joke about this, of course, but no one can deny they did a very good job on the whole game. But I am just glad to actually get my hands on this game. Honestly, as a younger gamer and growing up with having an Xbox, there were limited options at the time, so I couldn't only play these amazing games that came out during. So I couldn't play these amazing games that came out during 2000 and 2007. Now that I'm older, I have no excuse anymore. So here's the plea of the video to THQ Nordic. THQ. Please can you keep remastering old games that you own and keep buying old IPs, since, hell, most AAA publishers don't even use some of their old IPs anymore, and I know that you made a deal with EA recently to buy the Kingdoms of Amalur IP, so more of that please. Alright, plea is over, and now we have to get back to talking about the amazing adventures of Crypto 137. And no, I'm not talking about the character in Apex Legends. And yes, before everyone says it in the comments below, I realised this game came out before the Apex Legends version. But again, I knew the Apex Legends version before I knew this one. But before I go into the video, I will say this video is not for the developers. We say this every time. So, and how they can improve the next game, or just get an ego boost. This video is made for the people who may be interested in buying the game, or just looking at if they should even consider looking at this game at all. This video will contain light spoilers, but nothing that would harm you from going into the game. So, we are going to start off with the story. In this segment, we are going to talk about the story, though I warn you that the whole story was just to take the piss out of the 1950s America, though there are a few interesting things about the story, as I will say later on. I will start off by saying it does feel like the whole story kind of took a step back from the whole game. What I meant by that is that they've clearly wanted to create a fun game first and then the story later, but I, as a person who really enjoys story in games, I would prefer the other way around. To make a good story, you have to have two key pieces. The first is the setting, and Destroy All Humans decided that it was going to pick the United States of America in the 1950s to land all of its heavy-handed sarcasm and lore to the player. We first start the game by landing in the rural farm areas, and we start attacking and killing all these disgusting humans. Oh, I should mention that in this universe that every single person in the country is colorblind, because of the amount of people that shout, "Little green men! Little green men!" Even though Crypto is clearly grey. It's just something that annoyed both me and Crypto. Something to keep an eye out. So as we continue to create amazing chaos in 1950s America, we learn that crypto species came to Earth beforehand, and since also we learn that the Cryptos race has turned into a clone race, similar to the Sontarans in Doctor Who. With each new clone batch, less of them become. It becomes less of Furons. Basically, each batch becomes less Furonic. I guess that's the best way to describe the story. So they make a plan. This plan actually started millions of years ago by the original Furons mating with humans, which is weird within itself because, come on, I thought, as a human race, we had higher standards than that. But apparently, I was very wrong about our ancestors, the absolute simps and thoughts that they were. But the main goal of the overall story is just to try and get as much DNA from the humans as possible, whilst also causing chaos, because it would be so boring otherwise. So the second thing that makes a great story is characters. In this game, they wanted to have really wacky characters that would give them a chance to take the piss out of many different stuff. For example, the farmers are very poorly educated and would shout racist things at you. So basically normal farmers at the end of the day. Then we got all political and later missions by manipulating the people of America to believe that the destruction that we caused were caused by communists. The communists just wanted to see some explosions. Is that too much to ask for? Though, I will say that one character that really stood out for me, that was almost perfectly made for this game, was, I'm going to butcher his name now, Orthopox, which was the mad scientist kind of observing everything and kind of telling you what he kind of observed and gave you missions out in the open world. And we could see his slide remarks anywhere we go. Even if we killed a certain human, would get a response out of him. If we were failing a mission, he'd make another fucking slide remark. I'm surprised Crypto didn't slap him in the end. So basically, he's what a British person is and how we will make complaints and remarks on everything. Just a seriously funny character, and I could seriously relate to this one. Now, we must talk about the gameplay. I know, it's exciting. And I can fully describe what the original developers were thinking when they made it. One simple word. Fun. It's plain and simple fun with loads of different ways of killing stuff to blow up buildings just because it's fun. Right, I should say that I have yet again split this part into two segments, because there are two ways that you can have to play this game, but they go together like marshmallows and biscuits, creating the best experience 30 quid can buy. Now I'm hungry for marshmallow s'mores. Now the first playable segment that you get your hands on is playing as Crypto, on the ground and playing around with 4 weapons and several abilities. The 4 weapons that you get to play around with the first one is the Zap-O-Matic. That means you can electrocute your enemies, and when you fully upgrade this weapon, you can chain up to 3 enemies dying to this weapon at once. I absolutely loved this weapon, and in fact I probably used it the most out of all the weapons in the game. The next weapon was the Iron Detonator, which was basically a grenade launcher. This was probably the most generic weapon that they came up with this game. I mainly use this sort of weapon to clear like large groups of enemies, or even like tougher enemies such as tanks or the mechs, as you'll soon learn. Yeah, it's almost like this was made up. Another one was the Disintegrator Ray, which can be just best described as a combat rifle that when it kills a human, it just, as it said in the gun, it will disintegrate them. And finally, my favourite of all weapons, which is the Anal Probe, and it's just a blast to play around. Oh, look over there! There's a stuck-up postman. He just said my skin is green. Oh, now I will shove something that is actually green, and it's going up your butt. Ha ha! Oh, I almost forgot to mention that you can probe mechs as well. The more you know. The more you know. Now I have told you about the weapons of the game, I have to talk about the abilities that you get as a very powerful alien. The first one is I'm going to butcher this as well. Psychokinesis, which allows you to pick up stuff with your mind. At first, the only thing that you're able to do is pick up small things like people, but by the end of the game, you can pick up tanks and perhaps even mechs. Another one of these abilities is the brain extractor. Like the name says, we extract the brain from dead and living people. Hypnotize will allow Crypto to make an enemy or just a random NPC to fight, follow, or several other things, and this can be very useful if you're struggling in a fight. I particularly used it when it kind of goes hand in hand with the brain extract. So later on in the game, you get this power. If you extract the person's brain, it goes on to the next person, and for a short amount of time, if their willpower wasn't that great, by the end of when you extracted one brain, you can make another fight for you, if that makes sense at all. But moving on, the final ability is Holobob. This ability allows you to disguise yourself as a stinking human. You can literally be any one of the 4 characters models, copy and pasted throughout the level. Yeah, this was a meh ability, but it was still useful for the missions. Now that I have explained the first gameplay feature, yep, I can hear the person in the back saying "kill me now." With the second gameplay feature, allows you to pilot a goddamn alien spaceship. It's really cool to play around, and it feels powerful when you're in it. Like with most of the gameplay features in this game, you have 4 variations of stuff to play around with. The first one was the Death Ray, and acted like your basic attack. And if you fully upgrade it, this made everything feel like dust, whilst you smash everything under your round metal plate. The second thing that you get your hands on is the Sonic Boom, which is kind of difficult to describe as it does have an ammo system, and it does a shitload of damage to buildings, but to everything else, it's like hitting it with a wet fish. Even upgraded, it was a bit of a naff weapon. The third thing you'll be playing around with is the Quantum Deconstructor, and this weapon is the most powerful weapon in the game. Full stop. Even upgraded fully, you can have around 3 shots worth, but that's more than enough to cause massive amounts of damage to the whole environment. What the Deconstructor basically is a nuke. So if you used all 3 of these inside a level, you could basically destroy every building in that entire area. The final part is the abduction beam, which acts very much like But when you throw at anything in a building, it'll damage it and may destroy it. So you know that power I said at the beginning, so it's like I don't know why I'm struggling with it. But you get it. Try using majestic agents and throwing them at their own buildings is very funny. We're coming to the end of the video now, and I do have a few final words to end this video. Like, if you haven't already considered adding this game to your birthday list, or even considered just buying it, just treat yourself. Because I haven't had this much fun since Red Faction Guerrilla, which is surprisingly another game by THQ Nordic owns, and also has been recently remastered with another shit subtitle. I'm beginning to think that's what the entire business plan of THQ Nordic. So, thank you so much for watching. It really has been a great series to play around with, and I really do thank THQ Nordic and Black Forest Games for bringing this game back to life. I took the piss out of it quite a bit, and I explained what the gameplay is to the best of my ability. And I hope you enjoyed what I gave you today. It may have been a little bit more of a short one today, but I think with this sort of type of series, I kind of need to be a bit shorter. But yet again, thank you so much for THQ Nordic for just bringing this game out and allowing me to play it. I think this is where we'll end off then. Thank you so much for watching, and if you haven't already, please click that subscribe button. And if you enjoyed the video, click the like button. Hey, even if you didn't like it, press the dislike button. And if you have any words of how I can improve this entire show, please tell me in the comments. Love to hear your thoughts on that. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on to the next video. Bye now!